On the night of 21st June 2010, a Black Hawk helicopter crashed in Kandahar, Afghanistan. It was American, carrying Australians, commandos. One of them, Peter Rudland, has said of that night, "The guy who was sitting in front of me, he died. The guy who was sitting behind me, he died. And the guy who was sitting in front of him, he died." Rudland himself was badly injured, but lived.
I woke up in a hospital in Germany with zero account of what had happened. I woke up and my leg was elevated, there was a big hole in my leg. I had very little arm function and no leg function for the opposite leg. So really I was just laying there and I was trying to understand. I had a frontal lobe bleed as well, so nothing really made sense to me.
Peter Rudland was bred for the military. He was adopted by his grandmother, whose husband, Peter's grandfather, had shrapnel wounds from the Second War. The shrapnel took 30 years to kill him. So Peter became a legacy kid. He'll say he was destined for the military from the day he could talk. But after Afghanistan, the Black Hawk, and a broken body, how do you possibly move on?
The processing phase of it is extremely complicated and trying to understand and take some ownership over your rehabilitation. Once I got hold of that, you know, 12 months into it, I suppose, I started to learn a lot more and really take that ownership, take it away from the doctors, take it away from defence to an extent, because you've got to stand up and take, ownership over your own, otherwise you'll never get better. But it's been ongoing. I've had operations for years now. I think I'll always have some degree that I'm having surgeries or something along those lines. It just is what it is. It's a part of the maintenance that is my body now.
If you ever needed evidence that Peter Rudland's body maintenance is working, look at sport. Peter discovered Invictus Games.
Invictus gives a great opportunity for people who are injured to re-engage in sport, to change the way you think. And sport is a great way to steady the ship and just sort yourself out. I went from being a member on the Invictus team, I ended up being the captain in Canada a few years ago, and then I stayed on as part of the leadership team.
And this month, he was part of the Australian team at The Hague.
Life's been great to me. I've been given every opportunity that you could possibly have. I had the best job in the world and I've been surrounded by the best people in the world. Everything has been handed to me on a platter and I've been smart enough to reach out and grab it.
Peter Rudland's story, with its drama and guts, is pure gold to the Australian military. The man himself may no longer fly to conflicts in a Black Hawk, but he's a role model for his generation with a powerful story to tell. Recognising this, the RSL made Peter Rudland a national ambassador. There are 150,000 RSL members across Australia. Chances are vets from the Gulf, Iraq and Afghanistan are not well represented in that membership. Why is this? What's lacking?
If we get people back in the RSL, have the conversation, sit around, find out what's wrong. If there's something wrong with the RSL itself, fix it. And we do that by having the numbers. But if we just sit around in small groups and say, this is broken, right, how does it ever get fixed? We need the numbers, we need the people, and we need to make change as it adapts to today's environment.
Is it an age thing?
So I find that a really interesting question because that's why I sort of got into the RSL. A lot of people told me, the old guys won't let go. But I don't really see it that way. The more of that I speak to people across the RSL in every state of Australia, I'm finding that that's really not the case. The old guys, they're more than happy for the young guys to step up in so many cases. You'll have incidents across, RSLs where some of the old guys don't want to give up. You'll have young guys who don't want to give up their positions as well. So that's just not, just not the old guys. But I think it's more the young guys. We come in and we want to, you know, we step into an organisation and we have got great ideas, or we want to make change and we want to do it now. And then when it's not now, we get upset, we get disgruntled. Instead of saying, how do I become part of the organisation and how do I become the solution? You know, if it is a solution, that their idea, it will come in time. But not every idea is a good one.
Well, the very down-to-earth national ambassador from the RSL has issued his invitation. It's now up to the Rutland generation of veterans to accept and join.